So right now I'm in Thang. It is one of the northernmost frontiers and the last villages in India that you can visit. So some of you know that this, along with Tayakshi and Turtuk and Chalunka were part of Pakistan before 1971, and now they're part of India. See, most people know this, but then a lot of people do not know that one of the most extraordinary stories of compassion happened here. See, the mountains you see behind me, they are Pakistan, and the mountains on that side, they are India, and the mountains on this side, they are Pakistan. And I'll show it to you. You know, you have the last Indian flag somewhere there, and on the other side, you have this one mountain where you have the Pakistani soldiers, and there are posts all over these mountains, and some of them are Indian and some of them are Pakistani. And of course, wherever you are in this area, you're under snipers. But then there's nothing to worry to come here, because since 1971 there's been a ceasefire, and after that there has been no shelling at all, no matter what. Some of you might be aware of the 1971 war. It was when, before 71, it was East Pakistan and West Pakistan. And East Pakistan is what is Bangladesh today. And in 1971, Bangladesh wanted to become a separate country, and India happened to help them. And before that, between independence and 1971, we did not have that much tussle between Pakistan and except for the bloodshed that happened during the Pakistan-India partition. After that, between that and 71, for about 25 years, we had no conflict with Pakistan. But then when India decided to help Bangladesh to become a separate country, Pakistan obviously got annoyed, and on December 1971, Pakistan attacked India. Like they bombed places like Pathankot and other parts of Punjab, and the attack came as far as Agra, and obviously India had no other option than to retaliate. So then what happened was India retaliated, and war was breaking throughout the northern frontier, and this part of Ladakh was under the command of Colonel Rizing Shivang. So what happened was Indian army was retaliating, and they started pushing the Pakistani army back. So people think only Turtuk and Tayakshi was part of Pakistan before 71, but there were actually four. Like 13 kilometers from Turtuk towards the Nubra Valley is this one place called Chaluka. So from there, Indian army started retaliating, and the Pakistani army started going back. So this was on one hand, and in the winter of 1971, there was no communication, and the people of these villages had no idea what was happening. And all of a sudden, the villages of Turtuk, Tayakshi, and Thang, they heard shelling on both sides, and the Indian army was pushing from the Chaluka side, and first they took Chaluka, and then the people of Chaluka were coming back towards Turtuk. And the people of Chalunka were running towards Turtuk and then Tayakshi. The people of Turtuk, Tayakshi, and Thang, they were scared as well. So, but then because at that point in time, India was enemy country, and they were hearing shelling all over the place. And in 2 days, what happened was under the command of Colonel Rinshin, all four villages were under the control of Indian army. When the Indian army took strategic posts on the higher mountains all over, the shelling stopped completely. And then as the people of Turtuk were extremely scared, they made a decision. So what they did was they sent the children, women and old men into a pit near the river, and they were hidden there. And about 7 older men and 14 adults. They sat in the open in Turtuk, and they made a decision that let Indian Army come. We'll see what happens, and then we'll make a decision. If Indian Army misbehaves, we will all run to Pakistan. Otherwise, we'll see what will happen. So then, after 2 days, the shelling has completely stopped, and then no soldier entered the village. Then Colonel Rinshan came all alone to the villages, and he saw, the 14 people plus 7 adults sitting there. He came up with one promise to start with. He said, no military shall enter the living village. So what happened was, Colonel Rinshan made all the army personnel, get into the school. The school is out there. I'll show you where the school was. And the military took positions in the school, and outside that they did not venture into the village. And he promised the elders that, and no civilian in any of these villages shall ever be harmed. And for the next 4 days, the military treated the people with respect, and on the second day, midnight, the children and women and elders who were hiding in the pit, they came out, and Colonel Rinshan kept his promise of not harming the villagers. Even after people came out, the military was treating them with dignity and respect, and slowly, people started trusting the Indian Army, and they got back to the village. So the whole Thang, Tayakshi and Turtuk came to India's hand from Pakistan in 4 days. And then what happened was, the military was treating the locals with respect. And so much so that, the locals started giving food to the Indian military, and slowly the trust developed. But then there was a problem. See, as I told you, the whole thing got over in 4 days, and on the day that the war happened in December 1971, there were people going to other villages in Pakistan for work, study, and stuff like that. And so they came to Colonel Rinshan and told that, they have families there. And then, Rinshan was kind enough to understand that. He wrote a piece of letter guaranteeing them citizenship in India, and rolled the paper and put it into a stick and sent one person to the Pakistan side. So this is something, no one can expect from a colonel, and he actually did that. So there's this one guy called Muhammad Ali here in Turtuk. His father, he was an educated man, and he was sent back to Pakistan from the India side with a letter telling that, whoever wants to return to Turtuk, Tayakshi and Thang can get back there, and he personally guaranteed them, safety and citizenship in India. Colonel Shevang promised another thing. It fell in 4 days, but Shevang waited to draw the ceasefire line. So he said, we'll give another week time, and then whoever wants to return from the then Pakistan side to Turtuk and Tayakshi, let them return, and only after then the ceasefire line shall be drawn. But unfortunately, what happened was, Muhammad Ali's father went to Pakistan with the stick, and he said that India was treating them with respect and dignity, and whoever has land there and whoever has family there, they can return. But unfortunately, what happened was, he never returned from the Pakistan side, and the sad story is 2 children. One was 7 back then, and one was 3. Both of them were in Turtuk, and the father was caught in Pakistan, and they never saw each other for another 44 years. So 1 month went on, and after that, who stayed in Pakistan. They had no chance of coming here, and then the ceasefire line was drawn. Because of that, even today, The people of Turtuk, Tayakshi, and Tang, they have very high respect for Colonel Rizang Shewang. See, and there is a side story to it. I told you, right, Muhammad Ali. So he was 7 years back then, and after 44 years in 2013 or 14, he went to Pakistan to meet his parents, and his dad was like in his 90s back then, and it was an emotional breakdown when they met, and so it would have been extremely easy for Colonel Rinchin to torment the locals, because as of that day they were people from enemy territory. But then he didn't look at it that way, and he actually did the tough thing. See, I've heard many war stories, but I have never heard a story that is testimonial of compassion like this one. If on one hand Colonel Shewang Rajan was compassionate to the people showed equal gratitude towards the Indian army, which 4 days back was enemy army. So the way I see it, we can draw the border and the boundary wherever we want, depending upon who is stronger. But then the line of compassion is pretty much the same in all of us, and I'm telling this because I've been traveling from the easternmost LOC point, which is Tithwal, to right now I'm in the westernmost LOC point in Thang. After this it becomes the LAC. That's a whole different story with China. So I've been traveling throughout the northern frontier of Kashmir, because after abolition of Article 370, the government has opened all the LOC points, strategic points for tourism, and when I traveled from one point to another, I've been staying in homestays and having conversations with locals. Obviously, they know that I was born in a Hindu family, and they never disrespected or discriminated me in any form. In fact, for example, the people of Karen, they're extremely happy that Article 370 was abolished, because they have brought economic opportunities for them. Because now with tourists getting to Karen, every home is possibly converted into a homestay. Most of us in the plains think that all Kashmiris are terrorists, but see, there are only two types of people who understand the Kashmiris and who call them terrorists. Many of us have this doubt whether Kashmir is safe. See, for the last 20 days I'm here in Kashmir, and I have absolutely no problem traveling alone, moving from one point to another and stuff like that. And they have been greatly respectful to me as much as I have been respectful to them, and that is what it is. And unfortunately, Kashmiris happen to be the most misunderstood people in the country, just because of the fact that they live in a piece of paradise.